another exciting video. Today we're on lesson 5, and on today's lesson we are going to talk about expression and statements as we did in lesson 4, but with the expression and statements in lesson 5. These are the objectives which we'll learn about: the literative statements, learn the various types of literative statements, practice on using literative statements. So, literative statement, known as the loops, it is used to execute part of codes reportedly based on conditions or set of conditions, used for performing repetitive tasks efficiently. There are mainly 3 types of literation statement, which we have the for loops, while loops, and do while loops. So the while, then in quotes, condition, then your statement. The do statement, while expression. The for loop, for init statement, condition, expression, then, and the for also for declaration, expression. So you'll start with the for loop. For statements are used to iterate over a range of values or elements in collections. So this is the syntax for a for statement, whereby you bring a for, then a parenthesis, you initialize statement, you terminate loops condition, you also terminate update statement, you also terminate. Then you bring your curly brace, then write your statements, then you close your curly brace. So a for statement is also useful for expressing a loop without an explicit termination condition. So omit all 3 statements: initial statement, loop condition, and update statement. For, then you bring your double quotes. So this is a practical example of the for loop or the for statement. So for, then you bring your 2 termination, there is the semicolon, and inside it you write cout what? System overflow. And this is the what? Practical example for the for loop or for statement. So you take this float, so initial statement, then you move to what? The loop condition, whereby the condition can be true statement or false statement. And when it is true, it has to be, we have to have a statement about it being true. Then update the statement. Then when the statement is not as same as you are expecting, you should go back to the what? The initial statement, then come back until it is false. When it's false, it should see out your results. So for loop execution. The for loop executes as follows: 1. Initial statement executes. 2. Loop conditions is evaluated. If the loop's condition evaluates to true, execute the for loop statement. Execute the update statement, which is the 3rd expression in the parenthesis, and repeat this until the loop condition executes false. So for you to understand these floats, you need to what? Come and read the loop execution. Yes, the loop execution. So with the float, first initialize statement, then loop condition. When it is true, what? When the loop is true, it should what? Execute the for loop statement. Execute the update statement, which is the third expression in the parenthesis. It should repeat that same thing. It should repeat it like the the loop condition should repeat itself until the condition is false. That's for a for loop. And the initial statement usually what? Initializes a variable called the for loop control or for index or variable. So the for loop statement, this is how it is. For, then you bring your int. 1 is equal to 0. Then you terminate. 1 less than 10. Then you terminate. 1 plus plus. That means what? It should see out 10 variables of I. Let's say when I is 5, when see out, the next number should be what? Plus 1, which would be 6. And the next number to be plus 1, which will be 7. So this is the condition. Int I is equal to 0, then you terminate. I less than 10. So after adding, it should reach number 10. It should start from, let's say, 1, 2, 3 up to 10. Then it will stop. So the I should be what? Less than 10. And I plus plus. So you see out that and you get what you want to get. The results you get. So you can try this code and see what you get. Then you move to the while loop. A while loop executes as long as specifies condition evaluates to true. But what? With the for loop, when it is true, it should repeat itself until what? It is false. But the while loop executes as long as specified condition executes to true. When the condition is true, it's what? So executes as long as specified. A while statement executes its control statement until the condition becomes false. With a while loop, it's what? It should execute the condition when it is true until the statement is, or the statement of the condition is what? False. Before it stops. So this is the syntax for a while loop statement. A while loop, then expression, then you open a curly brace, then you write your statement, which you saw in the for loop, which you have cout I, then the others. So that's the statement. So you write your statement inside the curly brace. And statement can be simple and or compound. Yes. For a while loop, the statement can be simple or compound. An expression acts as a decision maker and is usually a logical expression. Yes. It's usually a logical expression. So infinity loop continues to execute endlessly. With the infinity loop, when your PC is not all that strong with, let's say, 8 or 16 gig RAM, your PC can break down. And with that, for you to get what? An infinity loop. This is how you are going to do it. It is what? Let's finish with this before I give you. So can be avoided by including statements in the loop body that assure exist condition will eventually be false. So with a while loop, while statement is also useful for expressing a loop without an explicit termination condition, like the for loop. It also what? Without an explicit termination condition. And this is the float for the while loop statement. The expression, when the expression is true, what? It should what? It should repeat itself. Until the expression is what? False. And so this is a practical example for it. So int I is equal to 0, then you terminate. While then I less than 10, then you bring what? You open a curly brace, see out I, then you bring your I plus plus. But for the for loop, we did it what? 4. Then you bring your parentheses, whereby we wrote I is equal to 0, then you terminate I less than 10, then you terminate, and I plus plus, then you close your curly brace. Inside that, before you bring your curly brace and open and close curly brace, and inside the curly brace you see out what? I. But with the while loop, you do it separately. So when it is true, it's what? See out I. You should see out I. Then after the seeing out I, it should add 1 to every number it see out for you to get the next number until I is less than or equal to less than 10 or equal to 10. So let's move to the do while loop statement. A do while loop statement is similar to a while statement, except that the condition comes after the body. And there's a syntax for it. The do, that you open your parentheses, a curly brace, then you write your statement, then you close it, and outside the curly brace you write your while, then you bring your expression being true or false. So this is the float for a do while statement. The statement, when the expression is true, it should still what? Run until the thing becomes false. It should run until the expression becomes false before it what? See out the results. And this is a practical example for the do while loop statement. With this one, you declare your variable I. So int I is equal to 0, then you terminate, then you bring your do, then you open a curly brace, and inside the curly brace you write your expression or your statement, which means see out I, then you bring your I plus plus. So when I is 0, you should add what? 1. When I is 1, you should add another 1 to it to be 2. When I is 2, you should add 1 for it to be 3. And you bring your while, which your expression is I is less than 10. So when it's reached I less than 10, that means it should stop. When it reaches I less than 10, it should stop. As for the float for here, it states the statement, the expression, when it is true, it should continue repeating itself until it is false. So when the while loop is equal to 10, it should stop. But when it's not equal to 10, it should continue what? Repeating itself until it becomes 10. And the existing from loop, if the condition of an iteration statement A, which is the for loop, while or do while statement is omitted, the loop will not terminate unless the user explicitly exits it by a break, return, go to, through, or some less obvious way, such as the call of exist. So as we heard about the break, but we didn't go details on the last lesson, which was lesson 4. Today we are going to talk more about the break. A break, which we have the break out of the nearest and closing switch statement or iteration statement. We use a break when we need to leave the loop body. So we use what? Break to leave a loop. So let's say you have a while loop whereby you write while, then you bring your true, then you close the parenthesis, and after writing your statement inside the curly brace, and you want to break it, you want to break that loop, you bring break, then you terminate. So the break statement is used for two purposes: to exist early from a loop and to skip the remainder of the switch structure. So this is how to use the break. This is how to use the break. So as I said earlier, you bring your break, then you terminate for a for loop. And this is a for loop. This is for a for loop. And sometimes we don't want to exist the loop completely. We just want to get the end of the loop body. And for that we use continue. A continue skip the rest of the body as iteration statement. And when executed in the loop, it skips remaining statements and proceed with the next iteration of the loop. And this is how to use the continue. And it is similar to the break. And this code is for a for loop. So the nested loop, we'll move to the nested loop. And nested loop are compositions of loops. This could include the do while loop, the for loop, and the while loop. Example: for, then you bring your parenthesis, int x is equal to 0, int x is equal to 0, then you terminate x less than 5, x plus plus. And this is for a for loop. Then you open your curly brace, then write your statement inside that curly brace. So the nested control structure continued. We are continuing the nested control structure. So int I, int j, then you terminate for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. Then you introduce another for loop inside the loop, the for loop, whereby you use because we have declared the j already, so you use j is equal to 1, j less than or equal to I, j plus plus, then see out you see out what the resource. So this is the end of our lesson for today, and do well to subscribe, share and like this video for more exciting content like this. Thank you.